Good evening. Welcome to Ubuntu Sports. It's another edition of Ubuntu Sports. Now, today, uh, it's a sad day for us football fans because it's a grand finale of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations. It has been a great month of football, of women's football being played in Morocco, and we've enjoyed ourselves here on Ubuntu Sports because we have been joined by different people, and you, our viewers, you've been exceptionally giving us all the support, all the comments. We value all the comments that came through. And to do the build up to the game tonight, I'm joined by Mr. Skumbuzo all the way from South Africa, Mr. Abia, and Mr. Mwanza. Mr. Skumbuzo, let me start with you because it's your nation that is playing the final tonight. Good evening and welcome to Ubuntu Sports.
Evening.
Great. You don't seem to answer with confidence. Are you ready for the game?
I can be as ready as I need to be. There's no turning back now.
Show, show
we are
us the
going to
jersey.
war.
Show
The
us the
jersey is
jersey,
here.
Boss Kumbuzo.
The jersey is here. It's just that it's cold. If it wasn't cold, I'll be wearing it.
Okay, without wasting
Yeah.
much time, let's look at the Bafana lineup.
Banyana Banyana.
The Banyana, sorry, yes,
Please.
Banyana lineup because we need to check who has made it in the first 11. And how do you think, before we look at the lineup, how do you think the team will perform tonight, Mr. Skumbuso?
My concern is that we don't have more or less an out and out striker, but if we play to our strength, of what I see, they've moved the number 10 to a sort of a central attacking mid, probably behind number 12, Sepesen. So I think that is a good move from a perspective of us having a better attacking impetus in our game because number 10 is good, but I thought in the earlier games they played her wide, and I don't think that was her strong point. But bringing her inside will give us a better uh, attacking impetus in the
Great.
game. Yeah.
Great, Mr. Skumbuso. Now, let me allow Mr. Mwanza to also come in on this. This is the final, Mr. Mwanza. It's not an easy game for South Africa. Who do you think will carry the day tonight?
Okay, yeah. So it's actually a happy moment and sad at the end of it because we've really enjoyed this Africa Cup for women. I think it has been so entertaining. We've seen a lot of surprises and, of course, things that we never expected, and we have seen during this game, the games that have been played so far. So it's a sad and a happy moment for because the game has reached its climax. A sad moment because it's the finals today. For me, I think the team that is going to carry the day is Morocco, and they will beat South Africa by 2 goals to 1.
Punches there for you, Mr. Skumbuso. What do you have to say? Most of the Zambians, unfortunately, it seems they're supporting Morocco, and I'm sure, I can assure you, you're going to have a tough time on this show, coming from the Zambians, Mr. Skumbuso.
Well, we know why, but it's unfortunate for them. I don't think they will have it easy. They might have another beating. They might have another stroke that will make their lives painful again, like Monday. So if I were them, I would rather stick home than to take the strides and support people so far away. But I think we have a good team. If we stick to our way of play, we will do well. But football is a funny game. Having said that, and Morocco also has some decent players. The number 11, Fatima, is a great player, and the captain is also a good player. There's the number 8 too, is also a very decent player. So we need to make sure that we nullify those players, and if we can. But as I said, for me, number 11 is key for Morocco. But if we do our job on them and we stick to our way of play, I don't see them giving us problems.
Let me give Mr. Abia a chance also to say something. Mr. Abia, good evening and welcome to Ubuntu Sports. What do you think? It's the final, Morocco versus South Africa.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ruben, and it's my pleasure to be here. Yeah, I think it's a good also. It's good also to see that female players are doing well, especially in this year's final of WAFCON, because we have seen a lot of finals playing Nigeria. Now Nigeria is out. They are even in the fourth position now. Yeah, which means the Shipolopolo, they are even better than Nigeria. But they can talk much, right? Say, no, we are 8 times, but the thing is that they have lost yesterday. Yeah. So for today's game, I think there is similarities between these two teams. Yeah. When you talk about defensive of South Africa and Morocco, their defending style is just the same. Yeah, they are strong in midfield, both teams. They're also strong in striking. But from my viewpoint, is that Morocco has a lot of pressure because they're playing on their own, on their home soil. They want to satisfy their soccer fans, and they also make sure that it's their home ground. They have to take that advantage. So they're having that pressure. And for South Africa, I think they are ready for this because you can see those guys, those girls, they were playing good game when they were playing us. And they also have a confidence when they were playing with Nigeria. They beat Nigeria 2-1. And Morocco drew with Nigeria with the 2 red card Nigeria down that time. They almost played about 20 minutes Nigeria without too many key players there. So I think South Africa on the other side, they're also a better side to win this today's competition. In my view, I would just say I'm in the middle, like a referee. I'm not supporting anyone. I would say let the best team win because this is a 50-50 game, so it can go anywhere.
Lawrence, Mr. Skumbuso is for South Africa. Mr. Mwanza has gone for Morocco. Mr. Abi has gone for a referee. Which side are you taking, Mr. Lawrence?
Good evening, gents. Sorry, I joined you late. It was due to an overrun in the other program that was going on this very channel. But today I'm actually with Skumbuzo today. I've looked at the history of South Africa in the finals in this tournament, and they have been there quite a number of times, and they have lost their finals. And the most recent time they were in the finals, they actually went on to lose on penalties. I think that was a 10 in ties for them. After having lost 4-0 at some point, 3-0s and all that, they have taken quite some bashings in the finals. And this time around, I think they're going to edge this one. As Kumbuzo, I think this one is coming to South Africa.
Thank you. It's a tough game, but I also realized that she's actually made another change. There's a lady who's playing on the left attack, Makhala, who was not there. I think she came in as a sub in the game of Zambia, so she's playing today. She's starting the match. So from my side, I think it's good changes, and I'm happy that Ramalepe is back on the right. So we should have a good game. We won't have people running over us.
Mr. Skumbuso, you've played in 4 games in the final, and you've lost all those games. What do you think this will have a different outcome?
If it's meant to be football, it's meant to be at times. You need a bit of luck because you can play well. Like Zambia played well in the first half of the game, and one or two chances didn't fall their way. And had those chances probably fell their way, things could have changed for the better. So in football, you need a bit of luck because you can do all the job, but if it's not your day, at times it's just not your day.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Skumbuso. Thank you very much, fellow panelists. We need to cross over to the game now, and we'll come back during the halftime to give ourselves a good analysis of how the game was. For now, let's cross over to the game.
Thank you.
This is a situation you know all too well. You played in the 2012 final 10 years ago. Just give us a brief insight into what it's like for the players on the pitch right now.
It's always a bit nervous, Dwayne, because the players really want to make sure that they implement every detail of the game that the coaches have been preparing for throughout the week. But of course, at the end of the day, it's just the 90 minutes that matter. So I think they just make sure that the forwards consistently stay in the game.
Coach of the Year. The Women's Coach of the Year award at the CAF Awards just 48 hours ago. Done it. To work it back with Mato, who is the only South African ever to score. Finally for Sane, who's constantly got her nose in the right areas. As Johnny goes up to the challenge, it'll be a free kick to Morocco. Big Ludi Nagash back onto her feet. Ifina Johnny. We're expecting a bruising battle, but Johnny looking to show a lot of physicality in the opening moments. Renan Matlos watches on. And he's looking to add Women's Africa Cup of Nations title to his enormous list of honours already. He's won the UEFA Women's Champions League twice. There's Nuku Matlo. Rosella Ayar. Should be a significant battle. Is expected to inspire their countries with significantly different roles here tonight. I want to talk about the stadium. I want to talk about this venue because the Morocco players were met with absolute delirium. It wasn't just a fervent fan base, it was delirium when they arrived for the pitch inspection and for the warm-up, and indeed sing the national anthem in play. You know what it's like. You played in Equatorial Guinea against Equatorial Guinea. What does that add? It's often referred to as the 12th player. How significant is that in the great scheme of things?
It's quite significant, Dwayne, if you look at just how it is that they help the team to really just push the boundaries to give the South Africans. It's always just about silencing the voice and making sure that they play their game, which will be easy.
Mira, escuché. Wait.
Shot. Sanam Sudi looks to win it back from Johnny. And to Matlo she goes. Matlo, who was playing as a striker in the 2008 final when she scored South Africa's only ever goal in Women's Africa Cup of Nations. Gold medal game. South Africa would ultimately lose 2-1 on the night. Again to Equatorial Guinea. So now playing as a defender. And as a striker. Sudi marching away with possession here, and it's cleared by South Africa, but the free kick is awarded to Morocco. Sana just has a quick word with Matlo. Beep beep. She's affectionate, you know. As the charts earlier, as Sibusenga's deflected ball in, so Mafaya had a shot towards goal. And Delhaj steered the ball away. But a decent early opportunity for South Africa. Sibusenga showing her ability in the area as tame ball towards Lamini is picked up from South African fantastic. You've been seeing the technical battle between the two coaches.
It has been interesting just to observe at the moment Coach Desirie's tactics, really making sure that she gives a bit of sense of stability and a bit of muscle with the inclusion of Nombula Kaula today. But also the coach Pedro of Morocco now really making sure that his team are sitting back a bit more compact just to absorb the pressure.
Super Simba looking to find corner. Here's Super Simba again. A decent return ball, but Mr. Shot dealing with Super Simba's immediate danger. Laying it back onto the path of Ridwani, who is uprooted. But having steered the ball comfortably away, the ball is a throw-in. Super Simba back towards midfield, but it's lovely bit of work from Nagash, who picks up possession here for Morocco, but she's lost it to Mane. 32-year-old Sundown star who's just snatched the ball away from the 27-year-old based in Switzerland. Pedros. It's an intriguing tactical battle that is set to develop between Lena Pedros and Desraelis in tonight's tie, and Desraelis having been named Women's Coach of the Year for the third time at the recent CAF Awards. Maybe the expectation of an upper hand from Desraelis, but do not underestimate the Atlas Lionesses coach. Edel Haj, that's too strong, I suspect, and indeed the ball wins its way to the goal line. How are you seeing the tactical battle between the two coaches?
It has been interesting just to observe at the moment Coach Desirie's tactics, really making sure that she gives a bit of sense of stability and a bit of muscle with the inclusion of Nombula Kaula today. But also the coach Pedro of Morocco now really making sure that his team are sitting back a bit more compact just to absorb the pressure.
Super Simba looking to find Koala. Here's Super Simba again. It's a decent return ball, but Mr. Shad dealing with Super Simba's immediate danger. Note picking up Shabak. The sun is on her, and the Ridwani is brought into play. Looking to go on the who's got to be considered for the young player of the tournament. She's only 19 years old, Elshad, and she's been exceptional. Not only has she scored, she's been a defensive linchpin for this Morocco side. Rabet, Shabak, Fernandez Delhaj, one of effectively half the squad that play in football with Royal Armed Forces. Nice part of the sum. So 10 minutes have come and gone. Goalless it remains in this final. Not lacking any enthusiasm in the crowd. They are mildly muted every time South Africa has possession. There's Kwalem for Mahaya, who can't find a return ball, and now the captain looks to streak away. Shabak's pass is intercepted by South Africa. Mando. His days playing for France. Super Simric goes off her feet, but here's Tasane. Notolo. Notolo is her twin sister, currently studying in the United States. I remember when these 14-year-olds burst onto the scene in the then Sasol League, and how much expectation was heaped on their relatively young shoulders at the time.
Yep, I think it was just a matter of time that we see them really broadening their territory where women's football is concerned. Nopolo's entrance in the national team, her sister as well, Nopolo. And so, you know, the league based at home, they were introduced from Cape Town Roses. And I think just looking at their progress, it has been really a good revelation for South African women's football.
Certainly has. Higher this time, a little bit of a battle here with Nesrine El-Shad, who's got to be considered for the young player of the tournament. She's only 19 years old, El-Shad, and she's been exceptional. Not only has she scored, she's been a defensive linchpin for this Morocco side. Rabet, Shabak. Hanan Telhaj, one of effectively half the squad that play in football with Royal Armed Forces. Asfar to some. So 10 minutes have come and gone. Goalless it remains in this final. Certainly not lacking in enthusiasm, the crowd. They are mildly muted every time South Africa has possession. Here's Kwale for Mahaya, who can't find a return ball, and now the captain looks to streak away. And Shibak's pass is intercepted by South Africa. Matlo. Rabu Dlamini just getting himself tangled up for a brief moment. Back to Matlo, who turns 37 in September. A little flick on here by Shifusenwe. Mahaya's in the area looking for a cutback, and that is going to be a corner, says the referee. Mahaya is expecting a penalty call here. Israelis, meanwhile, is giving instructions. Mahaya around the outside, and that's a good catch of the ball by the Moroccan player. Miscommunication between the South Africans, it seemed, because nobody was preparing to take the free kick. Kwale's now picked up the ball and will head out towards the corner flag. They're very good on the ball and somebody who can shoot from range as well. It's an area where South Africa has been lacking in this tournament. Accurate shooting from range. First corner. And dealt with by Marishi. Partisan crowd is warmly welcomed. A catch of the ball. Ridwane, Sudi, Shabak immediately on her and forces the captain into a mistake. Ramalepe returning to the starting lineup as well for Banyana tonight. She picked up a yellow card in the quarter-final match against Tunisia. I suspect Israelis was deliberately resting her in the semi-finals. Bungepe Kamede started in her place. Ramalepe returns to the starting lineup here. Dlamini briefly brought into play. Steers it towards the 2008 African Women's Player of the Year. Matlo. Dlamini. Shifusenwe just to get past Telhaj, and she has done. Here's Mutalo. South Africa looking dangerous, ball in that was threatening to go in behind the defence, but the Spanish-born Mrabet has claimed possession. Some of her former teammates are playing in the Women's European Championship currently. It's been Mrabet, Madrid-born to a Moroccan dad and an English mother. Won the 2018 UEFA Under-19 Women's Championship with Spain. They beat Germany in the final. Ridwane down that far side flank. Ridwane, down she goes. Free kick goes away at Morocco. Ramalepe is the one that helps Ridwane to her feet. Tasane with the little challenge. And South Africa. They look to be putting a great deal of pressure on Morocco when they are in possession, and Morocco find themselves being pushed back ever so often.
I think the South Africans have really tried to make sure that when they are out of possession with the ball, they need to get closer to one another and get into those spaces. Really frustrating the Moroccans because they want to get those passing lines open, but the South Africans have really stood their ground to make sure that nothing goes through.
Yeah, indeed. Morocco played a very, very quality brand of possession football, just punctuated by an attractive passing game. And Shad looks to pick up Ridwane again. She steps away from danger. How about this for a pass? Looked to be going beyond Mbane, but she's come across very nicely to snatch possession away. Intercepting that ball before Ayane could run onto it. Mbane. Juice She's
See,
known to her teammates.
the small one of the phone. Mine is one of the boundary man. Boundary man.
Minutes have come and gone, and it's a disgruntled-looking Morocco captain. He's learned Shibak, and a ponderous-looking coach. Amalepe has to deal with the green lasers that have again made their way into the venue. Shibak, here's Nakash. A little slip from Shibak, who was looking to run into a dangerous position, but the ball has fallen towards Dagnaout, who's recovered possession for Morocco. Mahia is intercepted. Mutlalo goes down, expecting the free kick. It's not gone away. Sudi has come away with possession. Now Mrabet. Redouani. She's been one of the standout players, undoubtedly, of this tournament, Redouani. Not be surprised to see her name in the team of the tournament. It's on the end of Morocco 2022. Goal kick it'll be. Well played by Pombadani Mbane, shepherding that ball to the goal line. South Africa once again to start their move from the back. Dagnaout to put Karabo Dlamini under pressure. Slow forward into the respective path of Mahia, but instead it's met by Rabet. Karabo Dlamini, a little bit of tidying up to do, and indeed just takes the safety first approach and knocks the ball out of play. Fatima Dagnaout, distinctive silver braids. Elshad currently turns out for Saint-Etienne in France. Saoud looking for that ball in towards the path of Redouani, and that's going to be a corner. It should have been a corner. Redouani got a final touch on that ball from our vantage point. This is Saoud's ball. It was lacking in pace by the time it was approaching the goal line. And indeed, Jani got a final touch on that. Redouani had sensed that it was not called corner. Here's Saoud towards the path of Ayan. It's that ball wide and ball out of play on the far side. Throw it to Banyana. Morocco believe they are ready for this final on every level, physically, technically, tactically. South Africa have similar belief in their ability. They've been working with a mental coach, Leanne Redding, just to prepare them psychologically throughout this tournament. It stood them in good stead. The only team to win 5 out of 5. Morocco have won 4 of their 5, and they've played to a 1-1 draw with Morocco in the semi-final. Eventually advanced to the final on penalties. Matlo. Dlamini picking out Hilda Mahia. Dlamini going around Dagnaout. Mr. Nagata Iore of Nigeria, the assistant referee on the near side, saying that ball was out of play. Yes, Super Sema got a little touch on that. Mahia getting another touch on it is Delage being put under pressure here. She's barely been able to move from her position, but on the opposite side, Redouani has been able to explore acres of space down the South African right flank. Two very contrasting fullback situations at the moment.
I think it works for the Moroccans, especially on that left flank, where normally Dagnaout would operate and Redouana just covering behind her. But I think Redouana always chooses her moments very well, knowing when to overlap and knowing when to give cover. And I think on this right side, it has been a bit difficult because the fullback has to keep an eye on Hilda. And I think Hilda is one of those players, Makai is one of those players that really, once you let her go, with the kind of speed that she has and the passing accuracy, she will be able to punish them.
She proved against Nigeria. Indeed, here is Mahia. 20 minutes have come and gone. Goal as it remains in this historic final. Only the third time that Nigeria will not be crowned champions, and we are guaranteed a first-time champion. Will it be Morocco? Will it be South Africa? And Super Sidwe on the ground. One back possession here after stepping back up. Zamini. So Wale's come deep to fetch and looks to bring Ramalepe into play. On the far side flank, ball out of play. There's Fante Idrissa Kone, the Malian assistant referee on the far side. Shabak to get away from Mutalo. Just a ridiculously gifted individual is Limi Mutalo. An abundance of talent. So too is Len Shabak. Born into the Shabak family. Larbi Shabak, her father having won the 1976 Africa Cup of Nations with Morocco. She is 70 minutes away from potentially winning the Women's Africa Cup of Nations with Morocco. What a family legacy that would be. Ayan, Shibak. It's rolling it into the path of Doug Naud, who's put under a little pressure here by Super Senwe, and Tlamini's come away with it. These teams have met 3 times before. South Africa's won 2, and the other match that ended 1-1 was Morocco's first ever international. It was played in Pretoria on the 5th of July 1998. It's almost as if it's come full circle for Morocco. They've never met in a competitive fixture. Africa, though, will be hoping they can maintain their record of being unbeaten against Morocco come the end of this time. Ultimately, a historic evening. Whoever is crowned champion will be a first-time winner. Note with a false touch. And it's a South Africa throw. She started playing for Royal Armed Forces at the age of 15, Doug Note, so talented she was. Back to Shiba. Driven backwards by Mutlalo, who has possession now. Zabini. Studying in the United States currently. Barnett. And that's comfortable for the keeper. Long ball forward. Israelis watching on. Banyana's first captain and somebody who has been a stalwart for South African football over the years. Masudi. Down goes Masudi. Filojane. Taking a little of Masudi. Now, this is where Morocco are most dangerous, from set pieces. Well, they've struggled to score from open play in this tournament. They have not struggled to score from set pieces. South Africa are well aware. Both these sides have scored 8 goals in the tournament. Morocco wanting to make it 9 here. Sure, just retying her laces. 25 minutes in, goalless it remains. Morocco over a dangerous set piece. Watch the run of Msoudi. Wearing number 18 for Morocco. Watch Rabet and El Shad too. Do not discount Rosella Ayan. Shabak. Floated ball that is dealt with by the height of Shibusinwe. That's out for 4. It should be out for the corner, I thought, but it's been called a goal kick. Saw it coming off the head of Jermaine Shibusinwe. Referee is called goal kick.
Yep. I think the referee has gotten 2 wrong calls so far, and definitely in favor of the South Africans. But the Moroccans just keep applying that pressure, and kudos to South Africa for being able to deal with those set pieces situations where the Moroccans are quite dangerous.
Well, we wanted to keep it as compact as they can at the back. They don't want to be conceding set pieces to Morocco's side. Here's Mansour. So brilliant with the ball at her feet, but she's been given no space to maneuver. Mansour again, immediately wrapped up. And then Idil Haj squeezes that ball away. It's the path of Nisrin El Shad. Shabak. Tugnout gets away from Ramalepe. Ghana is tidied up nicely. Tugnout will get on the end of this, surely. Delivery in. And Noko Matlo has got enough on that to steer it away from immediate danger. Morocco throw it'll be, deep inside South African territory. There's Rosella Ayan, the Tottenham striker. Sudi, Shabak. Neither one of these sides, you get the sense, is going to be overwhelmed by the other or the occasion, given that they've both been able to prepare so well and defeat Nigeria on their way to this final. But taking a look at this last attack from Morocco.
They are certainly looking for those pockets of spaces just behind the South African defense. And on a number of occasions, when they do combine and they have a 2v1 situation, they are able to beat the likes of Ramalepe, who's always isolated. Hence, the likes of Linda Mutalo, Rufilo Jane as well, they need to drop to try and keep that cover, which I think Mbane has been exceptionally great at it to make sure that the South Africans are given cover.
Rabet. Hassan is back helping out defensively as well. Has headed that ball out of play. There's Tugnout. Duane looks for a captain. Ball out of play off Wale. Throw in taken quickly. Tugnout has it. That'll be a South African throw. Ball out of play off the Morocco captain. South Africa showing a little fluid movement going into final third of Morocco, but they are abruptly brought to a halt by the Morocco defence. The Atlas Lionesses showing their ability. Karabo Dlamini showing hers as well as she looks to pick out her captain. Janeb pushing into a far more attacking position. South Africa looking to take the throw. It's a Morocco throw. Morocco currently on a 17-match unbeaten run against African opposition. This ball stays in play. It's running along the line, and both players stop, immediately expecting the ball to be out of play. Don't see that too often as we hit the half-hour mark. Goalless it remains between Morocco and South Africa. Patrice Motsepe, the CAF president, watching on with the head of the Royal Moroccan Football Federation, Fawzi Lekja. And Sanam Soudi. Somebody who is very dangerous, can score goals from virtually nowhere. Mutalo off her feet, looking again around at the referee. She's not going to be getting those calls tonight. This is the earlier set piece.
Well delivered ball once again from the captain, Chibak. Always just really trying to locate that penalty area, knowing very well that the two centre backs, very tall in their height, can actually go for those aerial duels. But great work from Jermaine.
Here is Jermaine Supersimmer at the end of this ball. Into that 18-yard area again goes South Africa, but the touch is a false one from Tsane. So here's Tsane picking up in possession. She's got speed. Salo though gets possession. Down she goes. And the referee thought about it before eventually awarding the free kick.
You're going to want to see a bit more of Mutalo on the ball because she has the ability to get out in those tight situations, but incredible ability where vision is concerned to get those good passes to players. We have to make sure that the players are getting into that final third, especially the likes of Jermaine, Supersimwe, Hilda Makai as well, just to take their chances in front of goal.
No, Mbula Huale stands over this one. Packs a powerful shot from range. So does Nukumatlo, who's standing a little further back, but might be looking to float a ball into some of the taller South African players. Eremishi stands at the ready. Royal Armed Forces goalkeeper. It's Huale who looks to go directly towards goal. It's a little too high though and floats comfortably over the crossbar.
This is the exact reason why Coach Desri opted to come through with Nombula this evening to make sure that even in long range areas, she has the ability to get a good shot into the goalkeeper. But unfortunately, this one goalkeeper not forced for a save.
Rabbit for Ayan, and that's just a little too strong for the Tottenham striker. Reading born. Quick and lethal. Well, she scored twice in Morocco's final warm-up game against Ghana. She's sort of failed to spark at this tournament. While she scored from the penalty mark in the 3-1 win over Uganda, she's not really found her scoring boots in the way that many expected. But she is undoubtedly gifted. Tsane is down under an awkward challenge from Tugnaut. Ramalepe. It's been part of the setup now for almost 10 years. Debut against Zimbabwe back in 2014. Not the only player in this team who made his debut against Zimbabwe. Jermaine Supersimwe famously made her debut against Zimbabwe 12 days after turning 17 and scored on debut. Suddenly, everyone took note. Shabak charging forward. Left Supersimwe behind. South Africa have possession back, but it's illegally done. We're going to see caution here for Ramalepe, who's not unaccustomed to seeing yellow cards, and every so often discipline does get the better of her.
Malepe here just really caught. I think she got there late into that tackle, but also it was just a lunge, very aggressive. The referee saw a bit of fault, and I think for Ramalepe, she always constantly has to know where the likes of Tagnaout are because they want to create those spaces just to lure her into committing. And unfortunately, this one she committed, and she ended up with a foul.
Ended up with a foul. Somebody who was part of the team of the tournament in 2018 was Ramalepe, who goes back to Dlamini here. It's Nokumatlo. There's very little between the sides at the moment. South Africa getting a couple of shots at goal, but none on target. Possession-wise, is effectively 50-50. Maybe that'll change here. Lovely ball in from Mahaya. Looks for goal. Ermici with a fine save to deny Banyana the opening strike. Ball cleared away by Nisreen El-Shad. Now Msudi. Opportunity to make use of transition ball here. It is Ayanis. Very little support. Saud is sprinting up towards the danger area. Down goes Ayane. Play on, says the referee. Much to the annoyance and frustration of this crowd. Kwale comes away with possession after a little challenge with Msudi. And that'll be a free kick. First, referee Salima Mukasanga, though, is going to deal with the situation by checking on Rosella Ayan.
A possible hand to the face.
This is the move by South Africa on the opposite side. So with that lovely little through ball for Mahaya.
And this is the great ability that the South Africans have. Once they get into that final third, they are very quick in their speed. It's all just a matter of giving a good pass, just to make sure that they are straight and looking at goals.
Khadija Ermici, somebody who's pulled off a fine save to deny South Africa. South African players have made their way to their own technical area. Tilla is back on her feet. Morocco fans, as of now, looking a little at the ready, expecting something to come. South Africa steering the ball into forward position. A little tug off the ball here, and Mahaya's seen the free kick awarded to her. So South Africa in a fairly dangerous position here. It's relatively straight down the centre, but the captain Shabak with a cynical foul.
Shabak has been a little frustrated in the game, really. And things are not really going her way. She is not able to connect with midfielders and passes. That's why she's forced into dropping into defense to try and assist her teammates, and therefore just causing unnecessary fouls. And I think this is an opportunity for the South Africans to capitalize.
Mahaya stands over this. Scored against Nigeria in that 2-1 win. Scored on her debut against Lesotho, you may recall, back in February of 2018. An exciting player, and somebody who hopes one day to play for Chelsea. In Rosella Ayan, she's up against somebody who has played for Chelsea and won titles with Chelsea. We're into the 40th minute. Kwale is not taking this one. It's Mahaya, currently based in Korea. Mahaya might go directly a goal and tries, but finds her effort off target. South Africa again seeking the opening goal, but striking wide.
Makai here just really trying to bend it with that left foot. You could tell by the technique that she was just going for that top corner, but unfortunately just drags this one quite wide.
Rabbit. It's a lovely diagonal ball that picks out Taknaoud. It's taken a few South Africans out of play. So too is Taknaoud. A lovely interplay here between the Moroccan players. Ayan it was. Kept in play by Ridwani and Taknaoud. But ultimately comes to nothing for the Atlas Lionesses. And Pedros poses in his thinking man position. 40 minutes have come and gone. Goalless it stays. This is the Women's Africa Cup of Nations final. Morocco against South Africa. Morocco through Ayane in possession. Somebody who's won the league and indeed the Women's FA Cup with Chelsea. Taknaoud, little cutback. Ayane! It's pushed her a bit wide. It's a first shot at goal by Morocco.
Great rotation of the ball there by the Moroccans. Taknaoud at the center of it all, once again, just getting in that cutback. But unfortunately, it was just behind of Ayana, who really tried to stretch out and get it to goal. But another nerve-wrecking moment for the South Africans.
Offensively, the last couple of passages of play, South Africa have looked a little torn apart. Speed of Ridwane, Taknaoud, and indeed Ayana just dropping back a little.
I think that's one of the reasons why the coach always opts to have her, even though she hasn't been scoring as many goals. Just the ability of creating those spaces through her runs and movements. And I think she has contributed to the team's success up to so far.
Here's Mahaya to put Veremishi under a little pressure, and she's done exactly that. Rabet looking to tidy up. And has done so comfortably. Here's El-Shad. Is giving chase. Need to keep this ball in play. Veremishi. She's already made a fine save to deny South Africa a chance. Somebody who already has a triple save and 2 double saves at this tournament. She's going to be difficult to beat. So too South Africa's Andile Dlamini. Both goalkeepers having only conceded twice. Goal kick that'll be. Asani being kept a little quiet this evening by Morocco.
It's been a little bit difficult for Tasane this evening, having to really be able to assist the likes of Ramalepe, because the pressure indeed and the attack is normally for the Moroccans down on the left.
Veremishi tries to go left. It's Tasane who picks up on it. She's got Ridwani immediately in front of her. She's got Kwale as a little bit of an outlet. She's opted to go all the way back to Ramalepe. This match threatening to go to half-time goalless. Linda Butalo has other ideas. Jermaine Supasenwe has stayed on side. Oh, the flag has gone up.
Supasenwe just caught offside there. I think for the South Africans, it's just a matter of moving the ball a lot quicker. As we see again, this cutback from Taknaoud. My biggest concern, though, has to be that Ayana isn't marked and that the South African defense is always just caught quite late. But I think with the stroke of halftime, it will give them an opportunity to go and restructure.
Elodie Nakash. Referee says play on here as Kwale looks to chase this ball down. It comes ricocheting off her shins as Rabet clears. Morocco throw. This way Ellis marching on. Somebody who's a massive fan of cooking programs, and right now, no doubt, a little tense in this final. She might be hoping to watch a cooking program. Get back to the kitchen, try out a recipe or two, which is one of her favourite pastimes. This is the cauldron. Israelis is up for the challenge, undoubtedly. So to Pedros. Just a little too high for Ayan, but Tagno looks to keep this ball in play and does so brilliantly. Electrifying pace from the star winger inside that 18-yard area. South African defenders hoping to stay on their feet, wanting to stay on their feet. Vane initially with the challenge and Tasane helping out. In the end, it's out for the corner kick. The Atlas Lionesses, are they about to roar? Moments before half-time, we hit the 45-minute mark. A minute of time has been added on, and the final play is set to be a set piece. The kind of play that Morocco have dominated from throughout this tournament. Chibak. Delivery is low and flat, and Shubhasimra uses her height again to steer this ball away. Time effectively done in this opening half, Amanda, but what's your take quickly on this opening 45?
Very tactical first half, Dwayne. Both teams just really making sure they stick to their game plan. Perfectly executed with minimal of chances for both teams. And we're just hoping for a much, much more exciting second half.
With that, the end of this opening half. Two sides that have come to play, but two sides that have thwarted one another's ability. Both have imposed themselves to a certain extent on the other. Morocco 0, South Africa 0 at half-time in this final.
It's half-time in this final, and it is Morocco versus South Africa. Mr. Skomboso is still joining us live from South Africa. Mr. Skomboso, still 0-0 at halftime.
Yes, it is 0-0, but we've had a good game. Okay, no chances except that one-on-one situation. But on the whole, we've played well. I think from my side, bringing in number 10 inside, he's having a good game. He's getting the balls. He's got a free role. He's dropping, collecting. He's everywhere. He's making things happen. But we just not getting it at the right. How can I put it, in the last third? And the other thing that I can be critical of is the fact that at times we tend to play the long ball, and I don't think the long ball is necessary. We need to just build up. Like if you look at that chance we created when we took the ball and we played, it looked decent and it was more penetrative. So we should be patient and try and build up. And instead of going for the long ball, was that we play to their advantage, because firstly they're playing low, sort of they're sitting back, so, and they have the numbers behind the ball, so it's not helping us to pump it up. We need to play.
All right, thank you very much, Lawrence. You also predicted that South Africa is going to win, so you and Mr. Chikumbuso you're in one team. How has been the first half for you?
I think South Africa have played well. I love the game, the pressure they are applying on Morocco when Morocco have the ball deep in their half. On the contrary, you see Morocco actually just sitting back and waiting for South Africa to come. It's a kind of a game where one team is not bothered by the that is, I mean, by one team I mean Morocco is not bothered by South Africa having the ball deep in their half. They only get concerned the moment the ball starts to reach the center line there and going into their own half. That's when you see Morocco trying to react and all that. All in all, I love the fact that South Africa has shown some resilience here and some bravery, that they are actually even trying to press the Moroccan goalkeeper when she has the ball. Also, that pass where South Africa had the one-on-one chance there was just one hell of a pass. I think South Africa should have buried that one. But kudos to the goalkeeper who came in and just threw herself at the feet of the attacker there to prevent the ball going anywhere. And the defender also running to the back of to stand on the line to clear the scraps there. Kudos to Moroccan defense for that mechanism. But all in all, I should say South Africa seemed to be trying to take the game to Morocco, and Morocco seemed to be getting relaxed. But at the same time, Morocco, I think, have created much more than South Africa have.
Thank you very much. Now, Lawrence, you and Mr. Skumbuso are best. Let me go to someone who is neutral here, who is Abia. Mr. Abia, you are the only neutral person here on the panel. Analyze it for us. How has been the first half?
Yeah, very good game for the both teams, and and I think South Africa started well. I think this first half can go ball possession for South Africa, and for you South Africans, you have to be very much steady with the left wing which Moroccans are using. Once they penalize that one, you are gone. Because I can see they are almost the time that if they are attacking, they are using left wing. So I think that number 11 is still sharp. So I think that left back for South Africa need to do his job again, to do her job again. Because if she continues trying to stop that number 11, I think by the time South Africans have chances to score, Moroccans will not have a chance to score back. Because the Northerners are very clever. They know how to take a ball from us Southerners. So this time around, South Africa should be let that happen. So I think it's a good game for South Africa. They have to be continue pushing. Maybe they can win the game.
Thank you very much, Mr. Skumbuso. Let me come back to you. South Africa had a lot of chances, and they've missed a golden chance one-on-one with the keeper. Do you think at this stage now, South Africa should be missing such important opportunities, because this is a final?
Okay, just to correct two things. Lawrence said Morocco had better chances. I don't agree. They had set piece half chances. It's nothing. They didn't. Our goalkeeper has been at rest. There's really nothing that he has done. But where I agree with Ibia is to say the number 11, which I told you about before the match started, Fatima, that she's quite deadly on the left. But the only problem, the only maybe benefit, as Lawrence had said, is that the fact that they sit back and they probably try to hit us on the counter. If they could have a clever number 9, because that number 9, she's fast, but she's not really the smartest. Because if you look at that cutback that Fatima played, that ball in the box, she shouldn't have hit it first time. That was a good half chance. She could have pulled it and hit it with her right. That was going to be a goal. But she tried to hit it first time, and it was it was a wasted chance basically, because Fatima had done a good job, but it was not. And on our side, the Moroccan goalkeeper did a good job. The chance was there. The striker tried to take it well. She followed through. The defender cleared. So it's football. There's nothing we can say. It happened. The chance came, and it went up begging. It's one of those things.
Lawrence, nil-nil at halftime. Should this match ends in a draw, these teams will go for a penalties. And do you think South Africa are going to be confident playing the penalties, looking at their past history in this tournament?
Awesome. Very good question. First, let me say, I think Skumbuzo didn't get me clearly. I meant to say they have created more, not really better chances. I think it has been a game of mostly half chances that have characterized both sides. The best chance of the game was actually the one-on-one for South Africa. No two ways about it. That was the best chance in the game, and that is what South Africa should have buried. Either ways, I'm getting worried actually and concerned at this point. I'm seeing a lot of lasers, green in color, actually being flashed in the stadium at players. And now I think I saw it on one of the South African players when she was trying to take a long free kick. She was being flashed with lasers there, and I'm getting scared that we might see what happened in the men's qualifiers in against Egypt. There, Senegal against Egypt, where in Senegal the Egyptians during penalties were being flashed with lasers, especially on Mohamed Salah, if you remember that incident. And that is what I'm looking at right now, and foresee if this game reaches penalties. I think South Africa will be at a very huge disadvantage going into the penalties. Not really that they are not prepared for it, but I think it's quite an obstruction, being flashed with being beamed on the face with lasers when you're trying to take a penalty. And as usual, these are things that will actually come and make more drama for this tournament than we have seen already. Concerning referees, but when it comes to lasers, I think to some extent the penalties will go on. The players have to take the penalties even when they are being distracted like that, and then you only start to cry if you lose. And even if you cry, I think no one will call for a replay of penalties, like what happened in the mains, the same game I've referred to, Senegal against Egypt. So I'm getting worried for South Africa. I think it is better. Speaking as a South African as well, it is better we bury this. We do away with this game right in regulation time.
Your reaction, Mr. Skumbuso?
Yeah, I agree. It's just that for me, my concern is the fact that CAF cannot do anything about it. For me, it should not be warranted. There should be some hefty punishment to the federation that allows such things into the game. If it means the team must play maybe their next game without fans or away, these things must be done so that they do away with them. There should be a way of punishing that country, that because this thing started in the Arab countries, and for me, it shouldn't be allowed. It's just pure and simply wrong.
All right,
So
Lawrence,
from a
take us
game
through.
perspective, though, well, penalties, if they happen, they happen. It's football. But as Lawrence had said, we, from a point system, if it was a boxing match, we've been landing the punches, cleaner punches. Let's hope that we can turn the punches into a knockout so that we don't take the game into penalties. That's all I can say.
Thank you very much, Mr. Skumbuso. Lawrence, take us through the comments.
I think there is a comment that I just saw from Mary. Mary, yesterday you tried to join us and you left us quite early. I think we really want you to come into the studio after the game, because she's been very consistent in following us and our proceedings on this channel from the from the word go. Please make sure you click on the link and come in. And you are saying, Mo Salah, my foot. Yeah, I'm just trying to refer to the fact that lasers were used during penalties in that game, and I think it's a bad indicator in football. It's something that we should not tolerate. It's if it happens to your team, I think you would feel it, and I felt it for Egypt because they had to play penalties with lasers on their faces, which I think was a disturbance. So here, Opa Vilakazi says Mzansi will win this one. Sipezu kwabo no makanjani. What does
We are
that
on
mean?
top of them, no matter what.
Awesome. Mary comes back and says, please let us like and share to make this streaming go viral and viruses family. And I can see a Moroccan flag there. I think I should let you know, Skumbuzo, a lot of Zambians are actually supporting Morocco, and don't be surprised. There, Frank Solochi says, Morocco win, go, Morocco, go.
That's too sad for Zambia, because the trophy will pass through Zambia coming to the south.
Dyson there is South Africa is losing. Thank you so much for your opinion there. We appreciate. any more messages? I think we should be trying to cross over back to the second half. Okay, Henry, thanks for that message, but I think this is not time for that. This is time for football, and let us unite in this game. FIFA wanted the cup to remain in West Africa, yet a wind of change is shown blowing to South Africa. Thanks. That is coming from Givenson Kabwita. I think you have some support from Zambia as well. Awesome stuff.
No, Giverson will get to shake the trophy on its way down. These are the people we need.
Okay, is there any more message we can go through? South Africa win that is coming from Prema Ni. I think this one is your countryman, Skumbuzo.
Oh, thank you, guys. And as I said, let's hope we do this now.
A couple of seconds before the game comes back. Any more messages? Okay, we seem not to be getting anything, Ruben.
All right, thank you very much, Lawrence. Let me go to Mr. Abia, our only neutral man supporting the referee in this game. Mr. Abia, should we expect goals now in the second half?
Yeah, I believe so. Because this game is so tight, and if it remains goalless, then yeah, it's football. We can do. We have nothing to do because, but like the pressure that South Africa are putting on Morocco, I see it goes in the next 45 minutes.
From which side?
From the referee.
From the look of things, South Africa can strike first, and Morocco can strike second. If South Africa strike first, then Morocco will be in trouble. If Morocco strike first, then South Africa will be in trouble also. So both teams have to be steady and study each other so that we can push this game to 90 minutes or beyond 90 minutes.
All right, and it looks like South Africa is about to score there, but the Moroccan goalkeeper has done well. Mr. Skumbuso, when you come back, it's either you'll be the winner or you'll be the loser. All the best. See you after the full time so that we can give you the analysis. Mr. Skumbuso has predicted that the cup will bypass Zambia all the way to South Africa. Lawrence has agreed with Mr. Skumbuso. Abia maintains that he's supporting the referee, and hope we'll have Mr. Mwanza at full time who is supporting the Moroccans. For now, our viewers, let's enjoy the game.
Perhaps lacking. Turns on his shot. Sane now tries a shot at goal. Mrabe gets the volley in the way. Sane. Her ability to move without very much space around her. Here's Kwale. Sane though is one position back from Sanahutin. There's Makhaya looking to go past Ait Al-Haj, a delivery in towards Ramishi, but she's able to snaffle the ball and deny South Africa an opportunity. There Morocco blushes. Makhaya, though, is proving to be a bit of a thorn in the side of Morocco. She's growing in confidence as well.
She does really well to run at defenders on that line, to try and get in those crosses. Jermaine just really arriving late.
Well, out towards the near side, but that ball not kept in play. It'll be a throw in to Banyana. Ramishi. She's a very good all-round goalkeeper, but her distribution is an area where she is perhaps lacking. Here's Tesane, turns on El Shad. Tesane now tries a shot at goal. Mrabe gets her body in the way. Tesane showing her ability to move without very much space around her. Here's Kwale. Pass is blocked. Tesane, though, is one possession back from Tagnaout and looks for a ball into the path of Refilwe Jane, who is making a charging run through the centre. Now Morocco look to hit back. And then they Delhaj. Nakash has possession. Tagnaout back inside to Shabak, who was making a fantastic run through the centre. Here's Shabak. Lovely ball into the path of Sanam Sudi, but it's swept away by Noko Matlo. Up to Jermaine Supasenwe, who looks to go with pace around the outside of El Shad. Supasenwe. Driven ball into the 18-yard area, but it is a comfortable catch for goalkeeper Mishi. Not great use of ball on the counter-attack from South Africa.
The South Africa is just really capitalizing on the turnover. With Jermaine's speed, I think the defenders really now know that if it is that she gets the ball cut wide, she'll always make sure that she leaves you for speed. And just in that instance, she just lost a bit of balance and a bit of power in terms of the accuracy in trying to convert.
She scored against the only other North African side present at this Total Energies Women's Africa Cup of Nations. The winner against Tunisia, 14th minute strike from Jermaine Supasenwe, ran onto a through ball and slotted home beyond the hapless goalkeeper. A series of CAF football presidents and dignitaries have graced us with their presence. The heads of all 54 member associations of the Confederation of African Football are here and have been since the CAF Awards held 2 days ago. An awards that Senegal was the major winner at, claiming 5 awards in total, including Men's Player of the Year and Men's Coach of the Year. And Desiree Ellis was seated between the two winners, Sadio Mane and Aliou Cisse, for the award ceremony. And they were first to congratulate Reynald Pedros, who was nominated. And Desiree Ellis took the crown for the 3rd time in her career. No women's football was about at schools when Desiree Ellis was growing up. And now a 59-year-old coach. She played hockey and netball at school. And outside of school was also a very fine cricket player. Then got into football. And so began a sterling career. 5 minutes down in the second half. Both these sides have showed attacking intent. Neither of these sides has genuinely threatened their opponent's goal. Vane. Carlo had possession for a moment, but Sanam Sudik quite emphatically snatched possession away. Then Supasenwe. Nasrin El Shad. Very dangerous from set pieces. Here's Redouane. Gets past Tesane. Gets away from Kwale, who recovers nicely to get a touch on that ball. Just interrupt the Moroccan flow. Throw in taken as far as Zayan. Up against Mbane. Oh, lovely pass into the path of Tagnaout. Now, turning that ball around, finds her captain through the centre of the park, and that's going to be easily intercepted by Karabou Dlamini. Mrabet. The centre-back is making a rollicking run into the South African territory here. And then they Delhaj. Rare foray into Banyana territory from the right fullback. Salo going down off the ball. Free kick, South Africa.
Mujalo there just being muscled off the ball, and the referee sees a foul. But the South Africans certainly doing their bit in terms of dropping deep enough to assist the defenders just to remain compact. And I think the instruction from the coaches has been to really find Jermaine has that outlets for them to go through. But the Moroccans certainly as organized, very compact, always close enough to each other, and always just looking for that break.
Speaking of breaks, Super Simrit looking to make one here. Khwale Sanam Sudi has just disrupted South African midfield's possession throughout this game, and she's done so spectacularly well and with a great frequency. Jane for possession against Nakash, recovered by Khwale, now back to Ramalepe. I suppose much of the question is, will the team that wins this tournament be the team with the greatest weight of genuine ability, the one most capable of expressing its own brilliance, or the one that is best prepared and producing what needs to be done to win a championship match? It has been so tactical. Ramishi. There's Mrabets. Morocco spending a little more time deliberately on the ball in this second half. They might be taking their time about getting the ball away, but I think there's a decision-making process that is going on. And then Eitel Haj and Siman Saoud, suited for her ability, no doubt, to run at opposing defenders, but she's had very little chance to do so in this game. Eitel Haj, though, is in a position where she might well be caught out of position. So we are set to see first change, and it's not surprising we're seeing Samia Hassani with the tracksuit top off. Murabet. Saoud couldn't control this ball. Karabut Lamini, a little touch forward, that's swept away by Eitel Haj. And Saoud might be the player to make way, and indeed she is. As the board comes up, Samia Hassani, based in Belgium, born in Netherlands, is making her way on for Iman Saoud, who was born in Casablanca but grew up in France. Now, a little problem here for Redouane. Medical attention is being brought on immediately. 10 minutes gone in the second half. Substitution having just been made, but there is genuine concern here over Redouane. Mansoud makes her way along the boundary line, back to the bench. Israel is trying to encourage her players as they gather around the technical area. Moroccan supporters. Good cheer. Mamajoy Chauke is central above the South African flag. This venue packed to capacity. We're into the second half. The goal is yet to be scored. Here over the injury to looks to be Redouane, and we might have to see a change for Morocco. Teams both on the pitch. The neutral medical team, emergency responders, and indeed the medical staff of Morocco. The fans watch on. There is so much hope all around Morocco, and certainly in Rabat. I've got a sense today, making their way to the venue, that absolutely everybody, even those who were not making their way to the venue, were clad in the colours of Morocco. They were filled with hope and expectation. Being applauded, which is stretch it off the pitch here. Is the Morocco fullback, and she's lifting her arm. And this is a massive blow for Morocco. It seems Redouani is not going to take any further part in this game. Women of the match in the 3-1 win over Uganda. And Chihiri is not only warming up, but has got the top off and ready to play. Play gets back underway though with a drop ball that Karamichi has under control. And President Patrice Motsepe among those watching on, and Tony Jordan and Fawzi Lekja sitting alongside one another, the heads of the respective federations competing here tonight, the Royal Moroccan Football Federation and the South African Football Association. Over the top, Kwal is making a run. Goal is through 58 minutes in this tie. And it'll be a Morocco throw. Substitution to take place. And Zina Redouani. Islan Chihiri is on in her place. Zina Redouani. And for me, undoubtedly, team of the tournament fullback. She can play left back, she can play right back, but she's stunned with her performances playing as a left back. Higher going down to ground. South Africa have possession through Jane, who's been marshalled by Sanam Sudi. It's Jane again. Ayane Onu. This is asking a great deal of Tessane, and indeed, she can't reach it. Tessane fast and flashy, but there has been a fair amount of criticism in terms of her goal scoring. And she recognises that she needs to score more. It's an area she's been working on. You sometimes feel caught up in the moments on the pitch, and decision-making becomes a problem in heated moments.
Perfect execution and well converted by Hilda.
The pained expression from Hanan Eid Al Haj, but the absolute joy. Mbani played her part in that goal. And now, the crowd on their feet. They are baying for blood. They are hoping to encourage Morocco to a response. Only the second goal South Africa has ever scored in a WAFCON final. Noko Maslow's scored a then equaliser in 2008 before South Africa lost 2-1 to Equatorial Guinea. Mabaya has scored the other. It currently has South Africa in front for the first time in a final at the Women's African Cup of Nations. Note. Will pick her out beautifully. Left foot. And a dangerous left foot at that. Ramalepe needs to be careful. She's already on a yellow card. Shabak's ball into the area is deflected kindly for Dlamini. And with 20 minutes down in the second half, South Africa lead, courtesy of Hilda Machaya's goal. Rigobert Song among the dignitaries that watch on. The VVIPs. Directly behind him, Togo's great Emmanuel Adebayor. Among the highest scoring Africans in the Premier League. Hassani. Well, this has certainly brought the crowd to life. They've quietened down for a brief moment, but there's plenty of enthusiasm and vigor in the crowd yet. Israelis is looking more animated in the technical area, though, than we've seen her throughout the opening hour and a bit. There's Machaya, the goal scorer. Huale, Jane. Ramalepe looks to feed for Tessane, and that'll be a Morocco throw. Hilda Machaya, player of the tournament in the CASAFA Women's Championships just 2 years ago. Concern here for Huale, it is. Down for South Africa. Philo Jane, taking your responsibility as captain seriously, sprints over to see and check on the condition. But this is the grand moment.
This is indeed the grand moment. Jermaine Supersino does really well to stay on her feet. A brilliant cutback to Hilda, who just, her timing is just absolutely perfect, just to slot that one home for the South Africans.
Jermaine Supersino stays on her feet. Watch this. Mrabet gets a good touch. That ball's going out of play. Supersino stays on her feet, keeps it in play, and then sets it up for Machaya. There were two South Africans charging into attacking positions, and a perfect pass from Supersenwe and set up what is so far the only goal of this final. South Africa have not conceded in over 6.5 hours of game time. Not since they conceded the 30th minute goal against Burundi in their 3-1 win in their second group game. Have leaded against Nigeria, against Burundi, but not against Botswana, nor against Tunisia in the quarterfinals, nor against Zambia in the semi-finals. So far, not against Morocco in the final. As Dlamini shows her intent to win back possession. I tell you that Paulos Biana has her shin pads in and is ready to make her way onto the pitch as Shabak sends a lovely ball into the path of Chihiri. And Dlamini plucks that out of the air and holds onto the ball. As if it is the most precious thing in the world. On the right of the screen. The likes of Rigobert Song and Arsenal Adebayor. Mercy Akida among those watching on. One of the all-time greats in Nigeria. You mentioned Mercy Akida, you mentioned Perpetual Ngocha, and the current generation, Asisat Oshoala. Free kick goes South Africa's way. Jane down. And with that, we'll see the substitution for South Africa.
For South Africa, number 14, Mapula Gwele. Out, number 19, Rosa Iana E.
So Hulusibian has made her way in for Nomvula Gwele, who brought that physicality to the midfield, who tried the shots from range, and played her part before looking like she was feeling a little uncomfortable on the pitch through some cramp. So South Africa's first substitution. 20 minutes of football to be played in this final. Maybe a little bit of a hamstring concern there for Gwele. Treated by the medical staff after a way on. What does Pedros do for Morocco? Possession might be nearly equal, Amanda, but the stats say that one team has used their possession significantly better than the other.
Yep, and it's important for the South Africans with a little less position.
Here's a chance for a second! South Africa lead by 2-0 in this final, and Hilda Bahaya is now joint leading scorer in this tournament. In the space of 10 minutes, she scored twice, and this final has been brought to life in the most dramatic fashion. As South Africa did against Nigeria by stunning their opponents with 2 quick goals, they've done the same in the final, and Morocco are trailing by a double. Super Senwe involved again. Dlamini keeps this ball in play. And then to Makhaya after El Shad tried to block that ball.
El Shad just caught there with the anticipation, with the ball just bouncing and skidding off her. But of course, Hilda always just lurking in that box to make sure that she picks up the pieces. A forced error, but yet again, the South Africans keep imposing themselves.
South Africa imposing themselves on their opponents now. This game is opening up, and it needs to open up for both Morocco and South Africa. South Africa have a cushion goal. They have a little bit of something to fall back onto, but they find themselves now 18 minutes away from claiming glory after 4 previous heartbreaks in a final. And Amanda, you know all too well what it's like, and you know all too well what it must be like for the Moroccan players at the moment. They must surely still believe they can work their way back into this final, but this is going to be tough.
I think the Moroccans really met their match, and in that respectfully saying so, a very well organized South African side, a team that also loves to have ball possession, to rotate the ball, get those combinations. They play similar styles, but it's just, I think, the matter of energy. The Moroccans just seem to not have the necessary steam in today's game, hence the tempo of the game, which was more at the walking pace.
Well, speaking of walking, I can tell you that there are throngs of people that are filing their way out of the venue. They are Morocco fans that believe this game is done, as they make their way out of the Prince Mullah Abdullah Stadium here in Rabat. The only team to have won all their matches so far at WAFCON are now leading by 2-0 in the final. Super Senwe with the ball forward. Jane. Back to Super Senwe in a little bit of space. Can she add to the goal tally? Tesane is going to be offside, but she goes around the outside, looks to tee up a teammate. And Biana's effort has gone beyond Ermishi. And indeed, the offside flag eventually raised.
The offside flag eventually raised, but a beautiful run from Nkolo Tasane just to creep in behind as the third man running. But the assistant referee noted that one very well. Concerns once again for the Moroccan defense, who just seem not to be able to track the South African attacking three, with Jermaine Siopasina doing ever so well to just drop into those pockets of spaces to allow Hilda as well as Nkolo Tasane to bomb up forward.
Well, we spoke about Morocco needing to do something. And it looks like they've got the former captain Najat Badri making herself available and readying to make her way onto the pitch as Janet traps this ball. And now looks to sprint upfield. Biana knocks the ball out wide into the path of Mahaya, who's sitting on a hat-trick. Would not be the first hat-trick in a final. Bertrand Gocha has previously achieved that. But there's still 15 minutes for Mahaya to write her name in history in neon lights. Supasenwe, Biana, Dlamini, 15 minutes to play. Half an hour done in the second half. South Africa leading by 2-0. Jane. A little tug of the jersey there from Jane, and free kick is awarded to Morocco. But we are going to see a double substitution for Renal Pedros. And he's bringing on Najat Badri, the experienced midfielder who wears number 10, and the incredibly dangerous Ibtissam Jaraidi. Ibtissam Jaraidi makes her way on for Sanam Sudi, while Elodie Nakash makes way for Badri. Ibtissam Jaraidi has just clinched her 4th golden boot of the Moroccan domestic league, having scored 32 goals this season. Brazil asks for a little water. She was deliberately kept on by Hannah Petros, and she has repaid the faith shown in her by scoring at such a critical moment, in a critical phase of this game. 9 minutes to play plus added time. For South Africa, it's the goal scorer Mafaya who has been stretched off here. And chants of ole, ole, ole around this venue. remains. South Africa leading by a goal. Shebak. Towards Hassani. Tarawat Lamini looking to get on the end of it. Nukumatlo knocks it up to the halfway line. But it's fallen kindly for Khadiete here. Here's Sipasenwe. Breaks it to Moroccan territory. Rabit. Shebak. Fouled. Free kick Morocco. Now out of screen. A little bit of pushing and shoving going on. Here's Sipasenwe again for South Africa. Down she goes. Play on is the call. Khadiete up against three Morocco players. She's got very little support. The sun is there. Shebak has come away with possession. Here's Shiri. Up towards Traidi. Scooped away by Mbane. Well, if we thought there was going to be tired legs and fatigued minds on the pitch, you're in for a surprise, because this is as intense as it gets. It is high tempo, high octane action.
This is intense as it gets. At this point in time, it's just a matter of fighting the mind to coordinate with those tired legs, but it's always the execution of making sure that you implement what is necessary.
Tesane squeezes that ball up into Moroccan territory. Michi out of her area. Rabet calling for it. Is three-player front line for Morocco up towards Ayan. Tugno is chasing this one, but it's Ramalepe who's knocked it away. Chiri into a danger area here, and referee says free kick South Africa. Well, you cannot say that this is not a brilliant advert for women's football. Now, play is not getting back underway immediately. We've got 7 minutes of added time that has been played. Shebak wins possession. Here's Hassani. Hanan Ait El Haj. Lovely delivery into the danger area. Morocco trying to find their way through again. And Jani has steered it away, only as far as Badri, who has Shebak on her outside. South Africa scrambling. Desane clears. Morocco back into a danger area here, and the header is just wide. Way through again, and Jani has steered it away, only as far as Badri, who has Shebak on her outside. South Africa scrambling. At this tournament, but not to be. Bongeka Gamed is making her way on very late in this piece as she comes on to replace Notolok Asane. But the substitution that has just been brought up is being put on hold here because South Africa's got an injured player down inside the 18-yard area. The fourth official, Maria Rive, has pulled Gamede back, and Tesane stays on for now. Closing moments of this Total Energies Women's Africa Cup of Nations final. Morocco against South Africa. The second half has been a superb advertisement for women's football on the continent. That is it. That is the final whistle. South Africa, after 5 attempts, have finally claimed glory in the Women's Africa Cup of Nations final. They achieve immortality as they claim their first title in the WAFCON. Morocco are defeated for the first time in the tournament. South Africa march on, but Morocco outmatched, outclassed, outplayed. South Africa out of this world. They are champions for the first time. Machaya's brace and Ayane's consolation goal ultimately, the 3 goals scored in the second half, but it is delight and glory and cheer and joy, celebration and elation for South Africa, but feel for Morocco playing in front of their home crowd. They are crestfallen, they are crushed, they are disconsolate. This has been a great moment of anguish. It was built up to be a moment of glory for Morocco, and it has fallen flat for the team late on. It is Morocco who fall to the ground in disappointment. There is tears of anguish for Morocco, but absolute tears of joy from the South Africans. The fans who came out in numbers were superb. They added such gloss to this tournament. But ultimately, it will not be Morocco's night. It is South Africa's night. They are champions of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations. Amanda Thamini, just take us.
There you have it. That's the end of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations tournament. And the trophy surely is coming to Southern Africa, not just to South Africa, but to Southern Africa. On the foot time here, I'm joined by the Ubuntu panelists that have helped us to build up to this game. And what a journey we've had, Lawrence. A beautiful journey. What a tournament that we've had. Mrs. Kombuso, congratulations. You were so positive from the start that South Africa is going to get this one. Congratulations. How are you feeling? And how is the atmosphere in South Africa there?
I think Robin should correct it first. You must address me as the champion.
All right, Mrs. Kombuso, the champion. How are you feeling? And how is
I'm
mood
wearing the number,
in South
the
Africa?
2010 jersey. This is the 2010 jersey. Yeah, no, I'm feeling very great. Unfortunately, I lost most of the game. I lost connection, but I saw the first goal. It was a good goal. The creation was it was a counter from a counter because in terms of position, our players had, I wouldn't say lost position, but our captain who's playing the CDM was more on the central attack. Our 10 was on the right, and the smaller player, number 9, was on the central mid. So the Moroccans tried to counter on that opposition, and only to find that the centre back would read the move, and he got the ball. He started a good move because he didn't throw it away. He took a few players on, and then he played that ball long. And number 12 did a good job, cut in, played it back. The 11, the one was playing left wing, was in the box, finished cool. And that's when, for me, things went lights out. I didn't faint, but somehow my laptop just disappointed me for that moment. But then, luckily, I came back and it was 2-1. The only thing that I didn't like was the fact that when we're now leading, we were kicking the ball away. There was no need. We are ball players. We should be able to keep the ball because when a team is desperate, they need to search for the ball from you. And there's no way a team can win a match if you have the ball. But if you are now kicking the ball, it's like hitting the ball into a wall. It keeps on coming back. And they could have gotten a goal just from a long ball. Second ball, it falls to a person, he kicks it into the net. Like that, they are 2-1 goal. The defender should not have forced that pass inside. He could have played it back to one of the centre backs or to the goalkeeper so that they recycle the ball to the left. So he made a pass that was not there and it was no need. We were leading 2-0. Why are you making such a desperate pass? And it put us in an unnecessary situation of pressure.
Thank you very much, Mr. Skumbuso. Lawrence, I know you're also in the good mood. Mr. Skumbuso, should I also address Lawrence as a champion?
Of course, of course. Even Giverson, he's a champ. Those people are champs. As I said, the trophy will pass in Zambia, there, in Kitwe, in Douala. Those people who know themselves to be part of the champ to Livingston all the way.
All right. Lawrence, give us your analysis of the game.
I think the game came to light in the second half. This became a good game. You know, in the first half, I was beginning to think we might have a game whereby if there will be a winner, it's just a 1-0 kind of arrangement, and that's what I had in mind. Actually, I should say, and I think that is why. You asked before the game started to say my who I thought would win. I said South Africa will edge it. By edging it, I meant a 1-0 kind of an arrangement. And the first half actually gave me that hope that actually I was right on point. It's a 1-0 kind of a thing. But the second half really surprised me. The high tempo that the both teams showed, it was from end to end, attack after attack, and we saw goals coming in from nowhere, 1-2, and then 2-1 from nowhere. I didn't expect this, and actually, when South Africa scored the second goal, I started thinking, oh. I thought it was aging it, but it's now becoming 2-0 kind of arrangement. And oh, okay. And then from nowhere, Morocco come back, and I started thinking there is even a chance that Morocco could equalize because South Africa, like Skumbuzo said, kept on giving the ball back to them. Every after an attack, South Africa was handing the ball back to them, over and over and over. And I said to myself to say, if South Africa don't defend well in this case, they might concede because it's always important when you are leading. You know how to manage the game at that point. And that is what Skumbuzo was trying to bring up. Game management when you're leading is very important. You retain the ball, play the ball, frustrate them actually, you force them into unnecessary fouls, unnecessary tackles because they are frustrated. They want to get the ball so that they can do something with it. But you are keeping the ball. Actually, you don't even have to send it into their into attack. The only thing you have to do is maintain it. Pass the in fact, play it back to the goalkeeper, start from there, reach the center, take it back to the goalkeeper like that. The way this Moroccan side was playing in the first half, where they sat back and waited for South Africa to come. After the first goal, they now opened up because they had to equalize. They could no longer wait. They had to come for the ball now, and that is why they were open to concede the second. And at that point, South Africa stopped playing to score. South Africa started playing to survive, and in the process they conceded one. I think if South Africa went on and hammered more and more, I think they could have gone 3-4 up.
Thank you very much, Lawrence. Mr. Skumbuzo, I want us to go to Mr. Abia because Mr. Abia is also your relative. The people in the eastern part of Zambia, they ran away from the Shaka's wars and settled here in Zambia. Mr. Abia, I know you are supporting the referee, but just give us your analysis of the game.
Okay, congratulations to the South Africans. Yeah, job well done. Job well done, guys. Congratulations.
And that includes me. I'm South African as well. That includes me.
Oh yeah. Yes, include you, Radesh. Yeah. You are the champions now. Yeah, nice game. Yeah, as I said earlier in the beginning, that the only team that goes first, I think that team will carry the day. So I think South Africa did their job by scoring twice. So scoring 2 goals gives you an advantage. So that's what pays South Africa. Then when you score, you don't pull back fast. When you score, you pressurize. The best way to defend is to attack. That's what South Africa did. And you can see the goal that came from Moroccans. It was a defensive error. That lady wanted to pass in. And she passes through the number 11 for Moroccans, and they took that advantage and it resulted into goal. And then they started pressurizing, because when you are one goal down now, you see that there's a lifeline. So that's what Moroccans see. But congratulations to South Africa. They managed to hold on until now they are champions. So congratulations to you guys once more. Job well done.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abia. But Mr. Skumbuso, this jersey that I'm putting on looks familiar, like your jersey. Can be this is also a South African jersey, I think.
No, all the jerseys in the Southern Africa can join. It's a party in the South. As you had put it, Guti, the trophy belongs to the Southern African region. It's in the Southern African.
And
It's
for the
our
first time.
SADC trophy. It's our trophy. we have shown, because I would say, excuse me, I would say in tournaments, it's not always the best team that wins, because our win against Zambia, for instance, it might have made us be the ones who would have been able to beat Morocco. Maybe Zambia might have not been able to. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that, controversial as our win was, you might find that it was meant to be, as I always say, it's scripted for us to have won the tournament. So as such, tournaments are not always the best litmus test to say who's the best. Yes, you are the champion, but you are not necessarily the best, because someone might have beaten someone who would have beaten you, because you don't play everyone. Someone paves your way, and then you find you miss someone who would have given you trouble, because as you saw in our semis, we had a difficult time against Zambia. And maybe had Zambia gone through, Zambia might not have beaten Morocco, because football, there's no therefore. You get what I'm trying to say. So, but having said that, we are happy that the trophy has finally come to the South, and not only did South Africa win it, but Zambia also showed that the Southern African side, now we are not just pushovers, because I saw even Botswana, there's a player there who plays up front. I can't remember her surname. She's got a surname that sounds Zulu. I think Refile something. She's amazing. She's quick. She's fast. She plays wing and up front. So I've seen some players that are coming from the south that are really, really good. So it shows that our football is improving. We might not have a lot of overseas-based players, but we are really showing that we are not just making up numbers anymore. We are strong.
I think Skumbuzo, I totally agree with you. Going back early in the tournament, I think we were the two of us discussing one match here. I think we were discussing the Zambia match, and then earlier on, Nigeria had South Africa had beaten Nigeria, and we were talking about it with Ruben, and we were saying, you know what? One thing that is pleasing at this point in time is that at least I see Southern Africa. It's Ruben who said this. He said he sees Southern Africa at least going up to the semis. And I told him to say, I think we might have a Southern African country in the finals. And at that point, it was before South Africa played Botswana, actually. And Ruben was saying, should South Africa do Botswana a favor and allow them to win, so that only South Africa and Botswana can qualify to the next stage, and then probably we have secured something into the final. These are the kind of discussions that we've been having, because all in all, it's impressive that this time around, COSAFA has done extremely well. It's been long time coming. I mean, South Africa has been in the finals. This is the fifth time, I think, and out of the 5 attempts, 4 have ended in defeat in the final, and it's always been that bad news for this region. I was looking at the past winners of the Women's Footballer of the Year in coming up from the past, from 2012. I was looking at that list earlier today. It's Nigeria, 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 up to this year. Those are the winners for the Footballer of the Year women's side. We look at the men's side. It's West Africa and North Africa. That's it. we don't see anything coming Southern Africa or Central Africa or Eastern Africa. There is nothing in these lines. So at this point in time, having a Southern African winner is a complete change in the dominance the Nigerians have put on this tournament. They have dominated this tournament to the level whereby every time we have this tournament, we expect Nigeria to be in the finals. And that is why at this point in time, yesterday's victory, Zambia's victory, actually confirmed Nigeria to their lowest ever finish at this tournament, which is actually so shocking. They are even talking about it in their country to say their standards have kind of gone down. Ruben, we are
I
having
think
what being presented at the venue there. Probably,
I think it's unfair to say the standards have gone down. We have moved up
Improved.
so much up that if you look at us, in a sense, we are not having a lot of players who are playing overseas, because most of the West African players are playing in competitive leagues, and yet our players are coming
that
from these leagues and pitting themselves against these teams and these best players, but showing that they are quality. I mean, as I said, they were number 11, you're number 10. For me, they are just as good, excellent players. That guy, that lady from Botswana, she could play for Sundowns. Sundowns should take her into their team.
actually,
Actually, one
I
of
can
the
tell you that we had a much depleted side because three or four of our players were not allowed to take part, and those are the best players we have in the country. They were not allowed to take part, and I think that is what's dropped the expectations from the Zambian side. If you watched the Olympics last year, Zambia was this Zambia team was at the Olympics and gave one player in the name of Barbara Banda made the history as the first player at the Olympics to score hat tricks in 2 games in one tournament.
You
And
see,
that is what we expected from her this time around, but was not allowed to play.
that
Now,
was the reason.
the reasons where we are told actually it's one topic that up to now we fail to comprehend. uh, our football association says there were some forms that were given for every player, and it seems that the some what is it, testosterone levels in the in those players were too high to be allowed to compete. But when you look at it, these girls have been performing for the fifth. In fact, at the World Cup, you see these girls play. They have on. This is the first tournament they have been stopped from playing. That's CAF tournaments. Even the qualifiers were able to play. Am I right, Ruben?
yes, yes,
Come
they
the
played.
tournament, CAF says they cannot play. And when this issue broke out, the CAF president, Mr. Mosepe, comes out and says he is not aware of anything like that.
It was funny the way he came out, Lawrence. He said that I slept at 04, so I'm not, I don't know that that issue. So I don't know what is
That
sleeping
is
at
why
04 and that question.
even that penalty decision in the previous game with against South Africa felt like the CAF president was just way against Zambia and all that, because from the onset there are players that were barred from playing because of issues which actually FIFA says they should not be allowed to do. Those rules are kind of discriminatory. That is what FIFA says.
It's madness, obviously. I also don't agree with that. And moreover, if these people have played, I would understand if you introduce the rule retrospectively to say now, maybe going forward, we will check this starting with players at an X age, maybe let's say under 23. But because players have been playing, you cannot suddenly then say the rule applies. I mean, they've played, they've impacted on tournaments and so on. I mean, how then do you introduce the rule like that?
It's Mr. Skumbuso. Actually, it's just a rule that's not supposed to apply anywhere. There is nowhere
Yeah,
in men's football don't test for testosterone, saying if someone has got testosterone
law.
below
That's what
this,
they should
and
say for women.
then they should play women's game. Why should it be for the women? Say if the testosterone goes beyond this level, then they cannot play. They are regarded as men. it's not fair, and FIFA has taken
Yeah,
this
actually, you're very right,
reflect.
Ruben, to correct me on that because this is exactly the same thing that happened to Casta in our situation,
Yeah, that's
where all of
actually
a
that's
sudden she runs, then the next thing people decides because they are being left behind, and she has a natural innate testosterone levels that are high. Now she needs to control them for what? She's born with it. That's the way she is. It's like saying they even made the whole idea of Michael Phelps that because she's got long legs, long feet, should the feet be cut because that was giving her an added advantage in swimming. It's what
Yeah,
he's
the
born
same with
with.
Usain Bolt. Same with Usain Bolt.
Yes, it was just nonsense. I mean, it's
that is
nonsense.
where that is the background of Zambians fight with CAF, and that penalty incident was more like adding salt to the wound. And actually, to even compound more misery to the situation is CAF. I don't know. I take it was accidental. CAF actually 6 hours before the game posted on their Facebook that South Africa was marching on to the final.
Can you believe it?
And then
So
the other thing, maybe you missed it. During the CAF Awards, there was one of our players, Grace Chand, our captain of this, who was captaining this side because
the
of the
judge
absence
number
of
10.
Barbara Banda. Yes, just
Yes.
number 10. Yes, when they were giving the awards, the Mosepe, the CAF president, said all the nominees are coming from West Africa. Then you can imagine a Zambian comes from West Africa. Mosepe should know Kosafa very well.
Tell me, what does this mean?
It's favor.
It's favor.
What does favor mean? Just favor.
The favor of God.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Because I wonder every time your team comes in and then they do this, the ladies.
yeah.
So, oh, okay, okay. That's what it means.
That's basically this in Zambia. Everywhere you do this, everybody knows what you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Uh,
Mr. Mr. Skomboso,
let's
Let,
can
let me
can the
celebrate.
director please take us to the pitch where the South Africans are collecting their medals and lifting the trophy. Thank you so much for that.
yeah. So I think Lawrence, you can be here as they're collecting the trophies. Mr. Uh, Skomboso, I want you to take us through the players that are collecting the medals, which clubs they are playing for, and what do you
I don't
think
know most
going
of it,
forward
but
now?
I don't know most of. Unfortunately, I don't know most of them. This one, she's from Sundowns, I think. I'm not sure of this one. This one is from JVW. The captain, one of the longest serving players, Janine van Wyk. She's got a team in South Africa. She plays for it. That Indian lady, Moodley. Um, let me see. Who else can I tell you of? Yeah, this lady number 20. I think she plays for Sundowns.
Uh,
Uh,
who do you think was the most outstanding player in this Vanyana team throughout this tournament?
for me, it's difficult to say because I didn't watch the entire tournament game by game. But I'm a fan of number 10. I'm a fan of number 15, our captain, as a player. I think he was consistent. He did the job well, and also the centre back. The two centre backs did quite well. They did a good job. So it's difficult. I think it was a collective, but I like number 10 because despite his fragility in stature, but you can tell that football to her comes natural. She's a skillful player. She's clever. She makes things happen. You know. So
Maybe if I can ask you something.
mm,
What is the hard part for the men's team to do this?
we were talking about it this afternoon. My son plays football. We were somewhere. I said where he plays. I said. The problem we have is structure. The structure is bad. in a sense, it's the same thing that England is facing. I always say this, that England will never win the World Cup. People can say whatever they want to say because the football in England is overly commercialized. I mean, a team like Man City plays maybe one or two English players. It's the same thing in South Africa. Not that I'm trying to be anti-foreigners coming, but you find that a player in South Africa like Mbesuma is no more considered a foreign player in South Africa, yet he still plays because he's got a permanent citizenship. So that doesn't allow our players an opportunity to play. You find a team like Chiefs could have something like 6 players or 7 players in the starting lineup who are non-South African by birth, and the other players who are now foreign based, and 3 or so who are not considered as foreigners. So now that reduces the amount of opportunities. And then you go to issues like what else? Not getting the right coaches to say, let's play in a certain way in terms of our football, adopting our style and keeping to our style, getting coaches who are not adding value into our game because we are just seeking to make money and get results. So it's more of a structural problem. If that structure is corrected, because a national team coach doesn't have time, you cannot expect a national team coach to be doing all sorts of things. But if the structures are right, then the players will come right. But if the structures are not right, we're just treating the symptoms. You can fire and hire coaches, you can bring pep, it won't work. We need to get the structures right. Where we're saying, if you look at why the Germans dominate world football or the Italians or the Spanish, it's because most of their players play at home. They don't have the coaches coming in or foreign players coming in and getting too many spaces. You must bring quality players to be in your league setup, so that it doesn't impact on your player. So that whoever plays must play because he's good, not just because he's now got a citizenship and whatnot. So those structures are affecting. And the other thing where we are not afraid to bring players who are young into the setup. We play them whether they're under 23 because that's what Peter said when he was the national team coach to say.
Confirmed, South Africa are the 2022 Women's Africa Cup of Nations champions, and they have just lifted the trophy and taking it way back to the southern part, to the southern African country, the most southern African country actually, and wow, congratulations to South Africa.
Yeah, it's passing through. If I look at it, it probably will be passing through Mali, West Africa, Nigeria. There will just say goodbye, and then it comes via Cameroon,
Then Angola,
down
then
Angola,
Angola.
Zambia,
No, no, no.
Zimbabwe, into the southern tip of this SADC region.
Awesome
All right.
stuff. Awesome stuff. I'm
So
sure.
this
I'm
is
sure there's just so much jubilation. I'm sure, especially in Joburg. I know Joburg. Hey,
yes, yes, we are very happy. I haven't been outside, but we are very happy. These ladies have done us proud. I'm sure they will get a parade. They should be given a chance to have a parade in the city in Johannesburg and stuff because as you say, our men's team has starved us for a long time and
um,
may,
um,
may,
Lawrence.
yes.
Yeah. Actually, my director is giving me a signal that we need to wrap it up. Mrs. Kumbuso, before we let you go, congratulations once more. You are a champion.
thank you.
Just sum it up for us. Your concluding remarks. The end of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations 2022.
Yeah, for me, it was of what I saw. It was good showing of good football from the ladies, and we are proud that the Southern region has finally shown that we are not pushovers. We are just as quality, and as long as our coaches begin to realize that we have something to offer, it's not the fact that football belongs in West Africa. As long as a team or a people adopt or use what is their strength, we will always dominate also. But if we not use what we are strong at, we will always come second fiddle to the others. But the moment we start using what we are strong at, we will show, as we've just shown, that we are just as good as they are, and if not better.
Thank you very much for joining us, Taskumbu. So you'll be one of our resident people that will be coming here, giving us of what is happening there in South Africa in terms of the PSL League and the Bafana Bafana. Oh, and by the way, the Bafana Bafana won yesterday in their Chan first leg Chan qualifiers match against Comoros. Am I right, Mr. Skumboso?
Yes, they won, but we don't even watch them these days because we've given we've lost hope. So.
I tell you what, Skumbus, I tell you what. Actually, it is a similar case here when the men's team is playing. You see photos on social media where people have BP machines, painkillers, gallons of water.
Yeah, and the painful part, Lawrence, it's not supposed to be, not because we don't have the talent. As I say, we need to get to embrace what we're good at. In the Southern African region, it's speed, it's skill, it's agility. That's something that our footballers should be, coaches must emphasize on. This thing of us being physically strong, it's not there. We will never be there. We're not 2 meters tall. We're not big. We will never be big. It will never happen. So in our football, we must emphasize on our strengths. Then we will dominate.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
If we don't do that, we will always come second or last.
Thank you very much, Mr. Skomboso. Thank you very much, Lawrence, for appearing on this special edition of Ubuntu Sports, because we just had to televise the final of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations. Ubuntu has always been there for you when it came to the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, and we hope we'll continue on this same path as long as you give us your support. Don't forget to share this broadcast, also to like our page, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Otherwise, we had a great time building up to different games and analyzing all the games. Our focus now shifts to the Chan qualifiers 2022 tournament. To us and from everyone in the production crew tonight, we say good night and God bless you.
How do you say good night in your language? Which is the major language, for instance, at home?
Mugone bueno.
What
Mugone
did you say?
bueno.
Bone bueno. Oh, okay. Bone bueno.
You can understand Lozi better. Muroba de hande. Muloba de hande.
Muroba de hande.
You for you it's a raw, but us it's a low. Muloba de hande.
Oh, muloba de hande.
And
Oh, which one is the most spoken language at home in
it's
Zambia?
the one he just gave you.
Muloba de hande.
Bugone bueno.
Oh, gone bueno.
Bugone bueno.
Bugone bueno.
Exactly.
Oh, bugone bueno. Oh, okay.
Yeah, just so tell our viewers now, Mr. Skomboso, that say goodbye and then end with Mugone bueno.
Yeah, good night. Bone bueno. Bone bulwanje.